Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Euro 2020 fantasy football content. My name is Dan and today I've got for you a Matchday 4 video all about my team and how I am getting on. And I'm pretty excited to share with you how I did last week and also share with you how I'm going to be lining up for the round of 16, Matchday 4, the big one, the final opportunity to make those major rank swings before we start to look at solidifying our rank a little bit and making some final movements. But guys, very excited to share with you guys what I've got for you today. If you could like this video, if you enjoy what you see today, that would be massively appreciated. If you subscribe, that would be awesome too, because we've got so much Euro content to come for the remainder of the Euros, and of course then we'll be moving on to some fantasy Premier League stuff as well, so loads to come. Please do subscribe, you won't regret it at all. We're going to help you dominate your mini leagues indeed. But before we have a look at my team of last week, a quick word from our sponsor today. Now, today's video is sponsored by Ultimate Fan, the game of fantasy, which basically combines the luck factor of opening packs and combining that with your fantasy knowledge. So you open packs, you put the players that you pack into a fantasy team, and you use those players to gain points. The more points you get, the better. And if you come in the top few hundred people in the world, this time it's the top 100 people, you win real life money. And the prize pool has gone up for this week's competition to £20,000, and they have a new competition every week, so it's never too late to join. You can come in right now, play for free, open your free pack. If you want to subscribe and get a couple of extra packs throughout the tournament, then you can subscribe as well. Well worth doing if you really do want to win. But definitely give it a go, try it out. I've been really enjoying it. I've had a friend who's already won £350 on it. I had another friend who won £15 the other day as well, so it really is possible to win if you do really actually try it on the game and try and play it properly. So if you think you've got a bit of fantasy knowledge and you also like pack opening games, this could definitely be for you if you're over the age of 18 and are from the UK or Ireland. And of course, guys, as you can see on screen right now, my team as well, you probably see a little bit about the game and how to play it. And yeah, I found it really fun to play so far this season. I think you guys will like it as well if you're into your fantasy games. Could be for you, completely free of course to try it out. And yeah, you can get a link to open your first free pack of course in my description. So go in the description, find the link, click it, and of course guys, let me know what you have got in your packs and who is in your team. I want to see them, guys. I want to see your teams. Send me them on Twitter, why not? Right, with that said, let's have a look at my team, and we're pretty much on 4,000 rank. 4,000th in the world, pretty much. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. You know, 3.5 million players. We're almost in the top 0.01% of players. How mad is that? How crazy is that? It really is wild. So we're doing really well, and long may that continue. We've made some very good decisions. We've got the right tactic going on. I think we're going to continue with the right tactic. I'm going to share with you my exact thinking through every process that I'm going through right now. We're going to talk you through it all. But last week went pretty well. So I went with the differential captain, the risky captain. Like I keep saying, guys, your first match day, your first day of the match day, your first couple of days in the match day, because you can switch your captain every single day. Start off with some risky ones and then build towards some safer ones. And we started off with a very risky one in Xherdan Shaqiri, and boy did it pay off. 13 points on the first day, doubled to 26. I was flying. I think I was up to rank maybe 1,000th in the world after the first day. So it was an incredible start already. I started the match day off somewhere like 11,000th in the world. So it's just getting one captain right, one differential right, one sneaky pick right. You can fly up the rankings immediately, and that's exactly what I did. Of course, I didn't end on 1,000th in the world, but I finished 4,000th, which is still pretty good because I didn't have a captain to play after that. But we did still get a few points from a few players. Now, Depay, he really paid off. Really liked him. Marlon, we really liked as well. Mela, we really liked in defence. 8 points there for the goal that he scored. We knew he had that in his locker. We knew he had that attacking ability. The other players may be slightly disappointing. Germany disappointing to concede a couple of goals. Ukraine were very disappointed. Denzel Dumfries, unfortunately, only played 45 minutes of football, which we weren't too impressed by. Pau Torres didn't even start the match for Spain, which made me think, okay, let's not even put him on the pitch. As it turns out, he actually got 4 points there, so yeah, maybe in retrospect I would have put him on, but knowing that he wasn't starting the game, I was never really going to play Pau Torres. It was never going to happen. But yeah, some disappointments in there. Gnabry and Havertz and Gosens are particular disappointments. I guess Havertz obviously did pretty well, but aside from that, we did expect a little bit more from Germany. De Bruyne, we probably expected a little bit more from him in that game, to be honest. But overall, I mean, I'm not complaining at all because it's a really, really good score of 77 and a rocket up in the rankings. So I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying not everything goes to plan. Some things will always go wrong, but as long as you can make the right estimations, make the right guesses in the game, and make sensible decisions based on fact, based on data, based on what you've seen as well, you can do really well. And that's exactly what we've done so far, and long may that continue into our tactics for the next round of fixtures. So let's start off with a completely blank pitch. We're going to build and put some players on this pitch in a minute, but I do want to say some things I'm kind of thinking of doing. So what I'm really thinking with the rest of the tournament is that I've got no wild card, I've got no free hit, I've got no chips left. So basically the team I built today has to last me. It really has to last me, and you cannot really plan for transfers in the future. And I don't think you should be thinking, okay, I'm going to get this player in for this week, and then next week I'm going to transfer that player out and bring in that player. Although it's nice to plan for the future, planning transfers for the future, at the end of the day, half of the teams in the tournament are not even going to be in the tournament next match days. And some of the teams you really think are going to go through, there's always an upset or two. There's always an upset. So you can't really, you have to not prepare for the future in terms of preparing your future transfers, but instead prepare for the right now and assume that this team is going to take you all the way, and then use your transfers, I guess, in emergency situations. They're not really emergency situations, but there are going to be a lot of areas where you didn't expect that you'd have to use a transfer, and you're going to be forced to use a transfer. So basically, you've got to build a team right now where 15 out of 15 players, 12 of them go through to the next round. That's kind of the goal. That's the target, because then you've got 3 transfers next round to use on players to replace the players who have been knocked out of the tournament. So as long as you can get 12 players through, that's pretty good. So mostly we're going to be wanting to go for the big teams against the small teams, but we also got to take into consideration the paths teams have to the final. I've spoken about before in yesterday's video, I really like the route of the Netherlands. I really like the route of Germany and England, but only after they play each other. So the winner of that. I like the route for Italy as well, and France have got a pretty good route as well. Obviously with Portugal and Belgium, that's a little bit more worrying. They play each other, so one of them is going to go out. So if you're picking players from both Belgium and Portugal, this is just an example. If you're picking players from who play each other, you know that half of those players are not going to be available to you next match day. So maybe take a gamble. It's okay to take a gamble on the teams you think are going to go through, especially the ones you are very confident about going far into the tournament. We get 3 transfers next round. We get 5 transfers the round after that, and another 5 in the final one. But we do want to save those transfers for emergencies, for rainy days. Now, I've spoken enough about not players on the pitch. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, Dan, just put some players on the pitch. I just want to look at your team and copy it. Fair enough, if that's the way you want to play Euro Fantasy, fine, but let's go. Let's show you my team. So we'll start off in goal with Donnarumma against Austria. Austria, obviously a very good fixture if you're looking for a clean sheet, and Italy, a very good team to be if you want a clean sheet. Italy have been the defensive masters. We've known for a long time their defensive record. Is it 11 games in a row now they've played at international level where they haven't conceded a single goal? It really is getting quite scary now how many clean sheets Italy are keeping. So in terms of going through the rest of the tournament, we are going to expect Italy to keep a few clean sheets and probably go quite far as well. They've got to be one of the favourites of the tournament right now. So going for a goalkeeper like Donnarumma, you would hope that you can actually keep Donnarumma for a few match days at least, and maybe even take him all the way to the final as if Italy were to get that far. I know they've got a couple of difficult teams on their route to the final, but they start off with Austria, which is not such a bad fixture. They've got either Portugal or Belgium next, which could be a lot worse. That could be a lot worse for a quarter-final. And then going into the semis, we're probably looking at France or Spain. But right now, it's good with Austria. So that's where we're going to be starting off. And then we're going to be doubling up with Spinazzola. Spinazzola against Austria as well. Again, well, like I say, we really like Italy for clean sheets. And I feel like even in those tougher, cagier games, you know, we're playing teams like Belgium or Portugal, depending on which one goes through. We're playing teams like France. With a team like Italy, I really feel like these games could become quite cagey and actually be kept down to 0-0s, 1-0s, things like that in the battle of giants. I don't think there'll be massively big scoring games necessarily, depending on the teams that are playing. I don't think Italy lends itself to being a team playing in a big scoring match in terms of another team scoring a lot against them. So it could be 1-0s and stuff like that. And if Italy can 1-0 all the way to the final, that's fine by me, because I've got double Italy defence, and that's definitely something that could happen. A nice big 2-0, maybe 3-0 against Austria, could definitely see that happening, and then after that, maybe little 1-0s all the way. You can't really control it. Your players in the Euro Fantasy game, they are going to have to play tough fixtures eventually. That is how it works. It's how it's going to have to work. And Italy are no exception to that rule. So that's why he's in there. So next up, we've got Merla. Not Marlon, Merla. Joachim Merla in defence there for Denmark. We've seen how attacking he is, basically. We've said it right from the start. We identified him really before the tournament even started as a potential really nice attacking fullback for Denmark. And since then, he scored a really nice goal. So we really like that last match day. Can he replicate it again? I think he can. He's got one of the more favourable fixtures of this round. He plays against Wales. So we are going to have to pick a couple of cheaper players from some weaker teams. But in terms of weaker teams, we're going to make sure they've got a fixture that they actually have a chance of getting through to the next round. And Mela definitely represents that in this fixture against Wales. I do think Denmark, with the spirit that's going on in the club right now, the nation, the national team, and I think the first half against Belgium they played fantastically. Their last game as well in matchday 3, fantastic again. So I really think that maybe, with everything that's happened with them, we maybe underestimated them a little bit at the start of the tournament, but they could be these real nice dark horses. So that's why I quite like them. So I'm going to be going for Mela, and we'll have another Denmark player as well in this team. And we'll finish off with Denzel Dumfries, which I don't think needs too much explanation. I mean, he's the most attacking right wing back in the history of right wing backs, pretty much, isn't he? So attacking, man. Getting into the box, charging right up to the pitch, powering through. Always wants to be at the end of a cross, or taking it on himself, or running inside the wingers essentially, or the forwards, and trying to get in and take a shot as well, or passing into the box across the goal. Everything. He does everything, and he's just been incredible. And I know he only played 45 minutes last game, but that's a good sign. That means he's been nicely rested to play against the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, by the way, the lowest ranking team in the remaining in the Euros, according to FIFA rankings. So this is a very favourable fixture, and also the Netherlands have a wonderful, wonderful route to the final. I don't think any other team in the whole tournament has a better route to the final. So they're going to be playing this game right now against the Czech Republic. If they win that, they will play one of either Wales or Denmark. So again, a really nice fixture there. And then after that, the semi-finals, that's when they'll probably play one of England or Germany. Probably Germany, if I'm completely honest with you guys. But being able to not play a difficult game until the semi-finals, like a properly difficult game until the finals, that's such an advantage. And for that reason, we want to go all in on Netherlands, and starting off with Dumfries is a good place to start, because he's just been incredible every time he's been on the pitch. He really has. Even in his first 45 minutes he played in matchday 3, he could have scored twice. He easily could have scored twice in that game. It's quite wonderful. It really is. It's insane. So moving on into midfield, we've got Wijnaldum. Why the devil not? I spoke a lot about him yesterday, so I won't talk about him too much now. Go watch my buy, sell, keep, avoid video if you want to learn a little bit more about Wijnaldum. But what a player. Super attacking in this formation. Netherlands an attacking team anyway, but Wijnaldum playing really far up the pitch. Really, really nice. Playing almost alongside the striker at times, playing a lot of his football in the box. When the Netherlands are in attack, running into the box, sometimes late, and taking shots. And he's taking so many shots, and he's getting goals. He's got 3 goals in 3 games in the Euros. So, and his record for the Netherlands is just so surprisingly good. It really is, and it looks like that's just going to continue. So we've got Insigne next. We are going to be going for a couple of Italy players, just because again they've got a relatively good route to the final. Relatively good. There are going to be banana skins for any team at the quarterfinals. So when I say a good fixture, we've got to take that in context. When there's 8 teams left, this is the 8th best team. So there's not really such thing as an easy fixture unless you're Netherlands, who have just got a really nice side of the draw. And the winner of Germany and England, they're going to have a nice fixture in the quarters. But everyone else is going to be tough for, basically. So we're going to win. For now, we probably want to load up on Italy, because I do like this fixture against Austria as well. I think Austria have not actually been that impressive. And it's a little bit of a wonder that they managed to get through. I think they can count themselves quite lucky, because they haven't stood out as one of the best teams in the tournament at all, really, have they? So we've got Insigne there, and obviously Berardi as well. Berardi are really nice for his price still. I still think he's going to be the starting man on the right-hand side, Insigne on the left, and those two are just going to be the main source of creativity and taking shots as well. Insigne in particular cutting in, and obviously those two guys are going to be on some set pieces as well. Mostly Insigne for those set pieces, and Immobile is going to be the target man. But we've not got Immobile. We've got just these four. We can have 4 players from each nation now, and we've gone for Donnarumma, Spinazzola, Insigne for a good price for a midfielder, and Berardi as well. But there is options to switch things around, I think, in the future. I think that Insigne in particular is at a good price point where if I change my mind, that could be changed. We've got Højbjerg as well, which might surprise you, but again, I do want to go in a little bit on Denmark. I don't like too much I don't like too many players in particular from the Netherlands attack, but Højbjerg, for his price, I don't want to say never go for defensive midfielders, but Højbjerg has created the most chances of any player at the Euros so far. That's pretty mad, right? So for that reason, you know, we're looking for assist points. He's getting assist points all the time. He's getting non-stop assist points. He really is creating so many chances. So, yeah, it looks like he's the penalty taker. Whether that's an advantage or a disadvantage, I don't know. But he looks like he's the penalty taker in lieu of Eriksen. So, hopefully Denmark can keep that spirit going, and let's see how far they can go. We've got a couple of players for them. They've got a good fixture against Wales. No offence to Welsh people, but we at this stage, we're talking about the best teams in world football. You have to put it into context when we're talking about weak teams. You know, I don't actually mean a weak team. I mean a weak team considering the circumstances, right? So we got Højbjerg in there as a nice cheap option, who can always be yanked out if I want to go for a bench option later. But up front, we've got Benzema, Karim Benzema against Switzerland. Good fixture for France, very good fixture for France. And yeah, I just think he's been the most threatening of the France attackers. And again, we've got to think about which teams do we think are going to go far in the tournament. France would probably be the one. They play Switzerland this round. They're likely to play Spain in the next round. So, yeah, that could be worse, I guess. Spain have shown some fragilities so far this tournament, particularly with their goal conversion, I suppose. So maybe France and Benzema can take advantage of that. But I just really like the look of Benzema. He's pretty much nailed on now. He's going to be playing every game for the rest of the tournament, we think. He's only 10 million. I just think this is just looking very good, to be fair, for Karim Benzema as one of the best attacking players in world football. He's come off a great season with Real Madrid. He's carrying on that form with France. And yeah, if you're going for a France attacker, why look too much further than Benzema? Because I don't really want to be spending that money on Mbappe. I don't really want to be spending that money on Griezmann, to be honest, either. But I would prefer to go for Griezmann than Mbappe, of course. But Benzema seems just about right. It allows me to dip my toes into the France attack without going all in, if you like, because I'm still not fully convinced by France. I'm not fully convinced I want to go all in, but I do like the look of Benzema, so why not? We've got Lukaku there, absolute beast. I've gassed up Lukaku to no end. He's just like, he scores like 3 in every 4 matches for Belgium. He's a machine. He can score against literally anyone, and Portugal have already conceded 6 goals this tournament in 2 games. So Lukaku's going to come along and he's going to score a brace. That's what's happening. But no, it could very easily happen. I really do think out of the big strikers left in the tournament, some of them have less favourable fixtures. I've spoke about Belgium and Portugal being kind of the fixture of death in this round, so it's really tricky. You wouldn't want to go all in on those 2 teams, but Lukaku, I do like Lukaku for this fixture. If Lukaku was to get eliminated by Portugal, he's also an easy switch to Cristiano Ronaldo. So there are options there. There are options for me to move things around in future if in an emergency. I know I said don't plan your transfers, and this isn't planning a transfer, but it's a way in which I recognise there is an easy escape route, if you like. Finding out escape routes is fine. I wouldn't say plan your transfers necessarily, but acknowledge escape routes where possible. And finally, Depay, one of the first names on this team sheet. Like I said, we want to go all in on Netherlands. We really do, because they've got such a good route to the final. They really have. They won't play a difficult team until the semi-finals, assuming they go through it every round. And they play Czech Republic, lowest ranked team. Plenty of goals there. Depay on all set pieces. You know, the top scoring player in that team at the moment. He's on absolute fire. He's really motivated, and he looks good in it. Well, I mean, he looked good last game. I don't know if he's looked at his absolute best, but we know there's clearly very much a player there, and he is looking good. I do think he is looking good, and I just feel like there's so much potential there for some big points and for potential captaincies and stuff like that. Pretty safe captain as well. So let's go on to my bench before this video gets too long. We've got Stekelenburg, you know, just a pretty cheap keeper, because when you spend a lot of money on your first keeper, which is Donnarumma, I just want to have a slightly cheaper keeper there on the bench in Stekelenburg. 4.7 million. He does look like he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for Netherlands every game, and like I keep saying, Netherlands have just this amazing route to the final, so why not? Pretty simple one there. We've got Pavard against Switzerland. The highest chance of a clean sheet of any team is France against Switzerland, so good chance of a clean sheet. And then Pavard has been pretty attacking as well when he has been playing for France. We've got Jordi Alba. I do really like Spain and Spain's route to the final, I guess, their fixtures, but I'm just not sure who to pick. Alba's kind of been the only one who stood out in terms of, you know, getting nice clean sheets and assists as well. He's got really nice assist potential, and he has taken a couple of shots as well, which has been nice to see. So there's not been too many players who have convinced me a lot with Spain, but Alba is one of them. I wish I was convinced by one of the attacking players, but there've been mistakes, there's been rotation. I'm not 100% sure I want to be going for any of the attacking players, to be honest, so we'll stick with Alba for now. And then Emil Forsberg against Ukraine. Ukraine are pretty weak defence left in this competition, and Forsberg seems to be one of the only players capable of scoring goals for Sweden. So in that case, if goals are coming from Sweden, it looks like they're coming from Forsberg. I know we all wish that Isak would get a goal because he looks so good, but Forsberg seems to be the guy. Set pieces, penalties, it looks good for him. So yeah, against Ukraine, really nice fixture. A lot of people think that Sweden might be the dark horses in the competition as well. So really like that one as well. And that, guys, concludes what I think is a really, really nice squad. Quickly on captains, because there's 4 days, which means 4 captains. Our first day's captain is going to be Spinazzola. You know, you guys know by now, I like a risky captain on the first day. And if it doesn't pay off, we'll move towards our safer options. So Spinazzola on the first day. And then I'm kind of not sure. It's going to be between Depay, Wijnaldum and Dumfries, and that kind of depends on how risky I'm feeling. I'm leaning more towards Wijnaldum and Dumfries at the moment, to be honest, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to commit to that right now, guys. We'll talk about that over on Twitter most likely. But it's going to be probably between Wijnaldum and Dumfries, depending on how risky I'm feeling. And then after that, we're going to have to start moving towards the safer options on the 28th and the 29th. On the 28th, I've got Benzema there. We could potentially go for Benzema as the captain for that day. I think that's probably one of the more sensible options. Or we could go for Jordi Alba there, of course, as well. And then on the final day, on the 29th, I've only got Emil Forsberg. So he will be my absolute emergency. Really hope we don't have to get that far. We've not had to get that far so far. My real emergency captain, if we do get that far. But there you go, guys. That's my team. I'm not going to say this is my final team, but this is very close to my final team. I might make final changes. I'm always interested to hear what you guys say, because sometimes you guys have actually come up with some really quite nice advice, and that I really, really like the sound of. So, guys, if you've got any thoughts on this team and you think that I'm missing something, you think I'm missing a certain player who's an absolute must-have, or you know, there's a player in here that's really, really putting you off for whatever reason, do let me know, guys. I always do read my comments, and there's always some interesting perspectives in the comment section. So yeah, really interested to hear what you guys have to say. But aside from that, guys, thank you for watching this video. We'll make any final changes on stream tomorrow, the deadline stream, 1 hour before the deadline. I will be streaming here on YouTube, so make sure you're here, and I'll answer any final questions. I'll give you any team news that I have, and we'll make final tinkers to my wildcard draft. Well, it's not a wildcard draft really, is it? It's just a round of 16 unlimited transfers round draft, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more then. Please do like the video if you did enjoy what you saw today. Please do subscribe as well if you're new around here and you want to see more Euro fantasy content, and then move on to some FPL content in a few weeks time. I really, really appreciate that, guys. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you on stream tomorrow, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye bye.